Hi, welcome to Caregiver Cast. I'm Elaine Petrucci, your host. My special guest today is Brenda Soucy, who is going to be speaking about forgiveness that caregivers really need to think about when they go about their caregiving responsibilities. Before I formally introduce Brenda, I'm just going to give you some information about her. Brenda Soucy is a speaker, certified dream builder coach, and life mastery consultant. Brenda guides personal and professional clients to design and manifest a life that is in harmony with their soul's purpose by gaining clarity on their dreams and goals and how to turn them into reality. Brenda has applied her many years of education and experience in international business by speaking in front of government and military ministry of multiple nations, high-level management in the corporate world, as well as the Week of Kindness and Gratitude Summit and Shalaya's UK's Men Are From Mars event. Believing that we are all capable of far greater than we realize, Brenda has a proven repeatable system of success that has helped tens of thousands of people around the world achieve their potential. She is on a mission to spread this knowledge with inspiring workshops, as well as transformational in-depth coaching programs that help clients achieve new heights of success, meaning, and spiritual aliveness. Welcome, Brenda, to Caregiver Cast.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you for inviting me. So happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're here because when we talked initially, you discussed forgiveness. So can you first give us a definition that you would use for forgiveness?
Well, the basic definition of forgiveness is an action or the process of forgiving or being forgiven. But each of us, the way that we work is that each of us is either expressing love or calling for love with every actions that we take.
Wow.
So we are a soul on a human journey. And in this human experience, forgiveness is an ongoing process and may be made into a lifelong practice as well.
Thank you very much. So people really don't, caregivers in particular, may not understand the full meaning of forgiveness and how that would really affect their caregiving journey.
Yes.
Discuss that a little, please.
Yes. So basically, forgiveness is widely misunderstood, as you say, as an act for another person. So forgiveness is actually for yourselves. It has to be done for ourselves first. So we must give up the negative perceptions of people and things that have hurt us in the past in order to allow ourselves to receive more of the positivity. So when where our attention goes, that's where our energy will flow, and everything is energy. So we may misuse the power of our mind by investing energy into a resentment or by rehearsing an emotional hurt. So this may be occurring consciously or unconsciously, and know that we are directing our life's energy every moment of our lives when we do that.
That's really profound, Brenda, because I know for myself, I had trouble forgiving or letting go, and it most decidedly impacts everything that you do.
Yeah.
And you end up, or I ended up making people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Not intentionally necessarily, but because I was carrying that baggage of unforgiveness around with me. So thank you for sharing that. So explain a little bit more in detail about how the power of the mind affects how we can forgive, so that we can let go of all that hurt and from the
Yeah.
past.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
So when we hold on to or rehearse those past hurts, we disempower ourselves, basically. So when we forgive, we need to forgive in order to free up our energy previously directed to the hurt. So the pain or the blame that we've gained. So instead of accessing that energy to support us in a more positive way, like serving what you would love to create in our daily life, basically. So forgiveness is the process of cleaning out some of the energy that no longer supports us. There is always some work to do in terms of freeing up some energy that is now being used for holding our resentment. So basically, holding on to that long held resentment or emotional pattern that takes up energy in ourselves. It's like someone who's picking up a hot cold, all the while expecting the other person to be the one who gets burned. Forgiveness frees us from being ruled by our own resentment. That's why forgiveness starts with us. So we should not expect that it will all happen at once. It's a mental and emotional cleaning to keep up with your spiritual hygiene on a daily basis. So when we forgive, you change the way you look at things. And through forgiveness, you develop compassion and you are able to see beyond what is present. So forgiveness is also a shift in your perception, which is one of our strong mental faculties that I also teach in one of my programs, Into Your Genius. So a new perception frees up our energy to be used in a more positive, life-giving way, basically. And in my Dream Builder program, I have 2 weeks on forgiveness. And in the coaching classes, we deep dive into learning 3 forgiveness practices and also 4 concepts that will help us to practice on forgiveness. So one of them is basically by remembering that we are all, each of us is either expressing love or calling for love in every actions that we do. The one practice that we can keep in mind is that we differentiate the person and the actual behavior. So when we are able to differentiate the both of them, it's no longer the person, it's just the behavior that they're unaware at the level that they are to increase their expressions. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It's, again, unless we change ourselves or forgive ourselves, change our perception and see the other person for who they are, that's the way we can change, correct?
Yeah, we change our perception. And when we change our perception, we build compassion towards the person and not the behavior.
That's amazing. I mean, that's just really profound that you can, if we change our perception of things, then we can have more compassion. I think that's really another gift that we need caregivers to have.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we are all souls on a human journey. And we're here to learn to make our best. And sometimes the person may not reflect the behavior, but they're just growing. They're longing for love, or they're trying to send love. It's yeah. And in my Dream Builder program, there's other always practices that we can do to help one another or to help oneself. So the other one out of the practices is that it's a breathing practice. And the breathing practice is that you bring in love, compassion, and you breathe out anger, resentment. You let go of that stuff. And then the third practice is after that, you do a person that have hurt you, and you take in the love and you send that person love, and you let go of that action that you've been unconsciously or consciously just continually live that emotional hurt or resentment.
Sounds amazing. How long does it usually take someone to put into practice the skills that you've mentioned in your program to begin to change our perception so that we can be able to forgive more completely? How long does it usually take most people?
Well, the way that the program is that we do 1 week, and we put that practice on for 1 week, and we practice the concepts that we learned in that class. And then we come back and we talk about how those concepts has worked. And you can pick one of the 4, or you can work on all 4, whichever best works for you. And the second week is another practices. It's we have different breathing practices, or like saying, and it, like I mentioned earlier, it is a spiritual hygiene on a daily basis. But what happens is that more and more that you focus on the compassion and the love for that person and release the behavior, you're less and less having those resentment thoughts of that action that hurt or emotional hurt has arrived. So you kind of lean into more and more of the compassion side, and those thoughts of resentments no longer come and take that energy in your mind, because you're replacing it with a positive and life-giving way of giving love. He doesn't forgive that person, but you can also just forgive the behavior and still send love to a person that's longing for love or looking for love in their souls.
That's amazing. So does someone after these 2 weeks on forgiveness in your program, do you find that people continue to use those techniques?
Yes.
You go through the rest of the course?
Yeah, we go through the rest of the course. This is week 6 and week 7, which is halfway of the course. The program is 12 weeks. And we could just continue implementing and working with all of the tools and the practices that we've learned throughout the program. And a lot of my clients, they feel light after those 2 weeks and feel relieved. Yep. And they have more positive ways of understanding and shifting their perception on okay, this needs a little bit of work to release that energy, so I can take that same energy and put it in a positive way. So I see my clients lighter and like with a smile, which is amazing. It's beautiful.
I can imagine. So after this 12-week program, do people still continue?
Yes, there's different ways that the client continues. They want to do the Dream Builder again, because once you bring your awareness, it's just like reading a book. The second time you learn more. Right. So they do Dream Builder for a second time. And I do have 4 more programs, which is Life Mastery. On that one, we talk about love, intention, transformation, abundance, and that's a 6-month program. Manifestation. So every month we have a new topic. That's a 6-month program. And I also have another program. It's working with the universal laws. So there's 11 laws. And when we learn so we have also the law of forgiveness in that program that we focus on as well. And we have the law of attraction, the law of supplies, the law of sacrifice. So that program is a 3-month program. And the other one is Into Your Genius, which again, we speak about perception Our mental faculties is perception, will, reason, intuition, memory, and imagination. Imagination are a big one. And our last one is standing firm while your world is shaken, which is when going through something very negative, you only see the dark. And that's a 4-week program that we bring the light onto that darkness after the 4th week. So I can do a VIP program, which is a 12-month program that has 4 of those programs, or an 18-month program that has all of the programs, as well as we can do individually as well.
Wow, it sounds like all these programs are geared to making changes within the person that's in the class so that they could be more understanding, more caring and giving to the person that they're taking care of.
Yes.
So that's amazing. So explain a little bit more about the perception, people's perception, and how that changes, because it's my understanding it's really your conscious mind or unconscious mind, is it?
Yeah, you're
That unconscious mind that really kind of controls everything you do every day. So how do your programs, how do you address the perception that somebody sees in a horrible situation that they've been?
Yeah. So basically, all of my programs are transformational mindset. We're changing our mindset, and basically, what we're teaching throughout these programs is notice what you're noticing in that moment.
Okay.
And then when you're noticing your own thoughts, that's when you pause, you take a deep breath, you recognize it, and you see that it's constructive thought. You can breathe, stop it, and repattern it into a more positive, expanding way. So you kind of have to unconsciously and consciously, yes, your thoughts are always running. There's one thing that we can't choose is can't stop thinking, right? So when we are practicing daily, noticing what you're noticing and how you're feeling about it, that's when we stop, we recognize it, and we repattern it, or we do the forgiveness practices, or the practices or the concepts that we give in our programs. So when we more and more you practice that, more and more that you're able to change your perception on what's happening in that moment right now, and where you can change your energy to a more positive, life-giving event in your own mind.
Thank you for explaining that. I'm the reason why I'm pausing is it's kind of frightening to me on one hand that your unconscious mind is like keeps filling your mind with all these negative thoughts.
So basically what I'm going to explain is a computer has a hardware and a software.
Right.
Your unconscious mind is your hardware. Okay. That will run those programs. But if you take a software, which is a new mindset, a new ways of thinking, and you upload it into this software into your hardware, then your hardware is more capable of seeing new things, of changing new things. And so basically our unconscious mind is our hardware in our computer. It's set in its ways, and it's only there to protect us, staying us in a status quo or in our comfort zone, when in the same time it's not very life-giving in that point.
Oh, you're right. I love that analogy of the hard drive and the software. That was perfect. It's hard to think that hard drive really has so much
limited beliefs and paradigms.
Right, exactly. Has all that, but that's what really rules our lives. And so it's marvelous that there's programs such as the ones that you teach to help people get
Yeah.
unstuck from those limiting beliefs and paradigms that have ruled our life
Yeah. And
for a long time.
yes. So
Right.
when we consider our past hurts, our past, that's a person that was non-aware at that point. We've lived through life, we're learning, and every day we're learning to be more and more aware on our surroundings, our perceptions, and the ability to actually work with our mental factor of memory to just shine a light on the positivity instead of focusing on the negativity. So when we do that, we bring more abundance and gratitude in our life.
I love it. It's amazing how just forgiving and making those positive changes on our hard drive can really shift our lives completely and provide us with a more rewarding caregiving journey.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes, I have one client. She said the other week she recognized around her family how she reacts all the time. And she said that there's an event that happened that her old self, her limited belief, her old ways of acting to her family members would have been like really communication would have been a little bit negative. But she said it was happening. I recognized it. I stopped myself. I breathed into it, and I was able to work out this situation in a more positive way. And
Wow.
yeah, so she was able to see when it was happening, and she stopped herself, and she was able to make a decision that was more giving to herself and more giving to her family member.
Wow.
Mhm.
So it sounds like those changes are very profound.
Yeah, yeah. So she was that was her win.
Oh, it sounds like an amazing win.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing all this information about forgiveness and positive mindset with our listeners today. So can you give us 3 takeaways from what you've talked to us about today?
3 takeaways is that we are our souls on this life journey, and we have to separate the person and the behavior.
Okay.
And when we change our perception and we are more in flow of compassion and love, then there's more positivity and life-giving ways that the universe starts working with us. I would say that the last one is one of my mentors, Mary Morrissey is my mentor, and this is the quote that she says, which I found very wonderfully. It's the content of my life is the curriculum of my evolution.
Oh,
I love that because
amazing.
it is.
Could you say that again, please? Because that was Go ahead.
Yeah. So the content of my life is the curriculum of my evolution. So basically everyone that comes, there's always a learning opportunity for ourselves, because most of us, we are a mirror to the person that we are bringing to our life. So we need to learn from the good and the bad, unfortunately, but at the end, it's all learning, growing.
And changing.
Evolving.
Yes. All of those nice, wonderful things.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
No.
It's nice to know that you can change your perception so you can see the person for who they are and not their behavior, which is really hard. It was hard for me. And then just replacing it with more compassion and love for the person that you're caring for.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure.
So Brenda, you said that you have a summit coming up in June. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Yes, there's a summit coming in June that's called the Week of Kindness and Gratitude. There's over 80 speakers that are all giving gifts, and I will be speaking on that week, which is from June 19th to June 25th. And when it's available, like we'll put it out there as advertisement. But if interested, my website always has a workshop open every 2 weeks. It's free. Anybody can attend to have an idea of like the Dream Builder program.
Okay, great. And what is your website, please?
My website is called soullifeadventure.com.
All right, souladventure.com.
Soul Life Adventure.
Sorry,
Soul Life
Adventure.
.com.
All right, I will get it straight. Okay.
Awesome.
What? Oh man.
Soullifeadventure.com. And I'll tell you a little story. The reason why I chose that is that we are all souls, unique souls, and we're on this life adventure together, discovering and evolving. That's how I came up with my name, soullifeadventure.com.
Soullifeadventure.com. There we go. Thank you
There you
so
go.
much.
Oh, amazing. Yes, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for being here and enlightening us about forgiveness and how we can have a better journey with our loved one.
Yes.